It is time for the Weekly Rant, where Will and me will talk about the latest happenings in crypto, prices, and I guess whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Today, we've got a few things we're going to go about. There's been some big announcements from Polygon and Warner Music, Microstrategy buying Bitcoin. There's banks in China buying Bitcoin spot ETFs. There's things going on everywhere. Will, how are you, mate?
Doing great, Simon. It's a really bullish week, and I guess the first thing we're talking about is BTC dominant, and it's still on a rise, up 52% now. But I need your help, Simon. I need to understand exactly what Bitcoin dominance does.
Yeah, sure. So this is definitely like a bear market thing where people start learning about what Bitcoin dominance is, that's for sure. So Bitcoin dominance is the total market cap of all of crypto, which is about 1.2 trillion, and how much of that is Bitcoin. So at the moment, Bitcoin is 52% of that. So that means Bitcoin must be just over $600 billion in market cap. And what we tend to see during this period of time is that Bitcoin dominance goes up, but the total market cap doesn't actually go up, which means there's not new money coming in. Not everything is going up, just Bitcoin, which to me means that people are leaving their altcoins. Maybe they're capitulating on their altcoin that didn't do as well as they thought it would, and they're moving into the safe haven of Bitcoin. Or maybe they know of this theory that Bitcoin dominance tends to go up during this period of time. But what it shows is that we are in a period where people are not willing to take on huge amounts of risk, and they're going to the safety and security of Bitcoin as a return. I think we saw the same thing in 2019. Bitcoin dominance also went back up. We also have some bigger players, so like the dominance percentage is not as high because Ethereum now takes up like 20% of that. But to me, it's showing that the market is at a point where people want to take less risk. That's what I'm saying.
Does that mean that the market is bearish for altcoins? Does this typically happen at the start of a bear or right before the beginning of a bull?
Definitely tends to happen more at the start of a bull. But yeah, people are
Mm,
definitely bearish on some of their altcoins. And I think people are accepting of some altcoins that aren't going to perform in the next bull market and are moving on. Because let's face it, the people who are here now are only the people who have been in crypto for long enough and are committed enough to stick around. And they're probably learning a bit more, and they're realizing that that XYZ coin is not going to return to its all-time high because
mm,
it doesn't have much utility. Where should I move my money? I'll move into Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Oh yeah, Bitcoin is definitely, I think, the go-to crypto. I think it's the uh, holding pattern for crypto. In that, if you want to hold some crypto and you're still thinking about what you want to buy, or you're still not sure whether to offload back to USDC, Bitcoin is perfect. Just hold it, and you're holding the perfect crypto regardless of the season. And at some point, yeah, you either move to alts or you move to USD. So thanks for explaining that, Simon.
Yeah, and this is not to say that means that Bitcoin's going to outperform. I don't think Bitcoin's going to outperform many different altcoins, but just right now in the short term, it's definitely outperforming the altcoins as we are seeing as Bitcoin tends to rise, the altcoins don't rise as much. When Bitcoin drops, the rest of them tend to drop a little bit more. That's just part of the cycle we're in. Anyway, let's move on. So this was a pretty big announcement, and Polygon are, I think, a bit of the kings of the big announcements at the moment. So they have announced that they're partnering up with Warner Music Group, which is a big music industry player. And so basically what they're saying is that they are joining together to help fund, I guess, different startups bringing Web3 and music innovation and decentralized music into the space. This is really cool. I think it's a little bit more maybe lipstick than actual deliverable yet, because
Mm.
they've got nothing. They've just said we're announcing a partnership. But money in the space, a big music player obviously wanting to make sure it's not being left behind in the Web3 world, and Polygon being really good at creating these partnerships. I think it's sowing the seeds for something that could be really big in the future, because it only takes one really good idea that these two could come together and create that will see music and Web3 really take off in the mainstream. So really cool news to see big music players and big blockchain players coming together, trying to create innovation. What are your thoughts on this one?
Totally. And like you said, it takes only one good idea. And my thing about Polygon is that, like you said, they do have a lot of these partnerships. But on top of that is they do offer funding to small teams and medium-sized teams. And the cool thing is that these really small teams don't even need a lot of money to get started. Some of them just need $10,000, $20,000, which is nothing for Polygon. But then what that means is that these teams, one, they get a bit of credibility. Hey, we've been funded by Polygon, and that allows them to, I suppose, seek other rounds of funding from other investors. So it's kind of like a really cool knock-on effect being recognized by Polygon. So this is really cool that Warner Music has also partnered there. So if I had a startup and I had the Warner's stamp on it and Polygon's stamp on it, I think it gives me a way better chance to be funded by somebody else. So yeah, totally. It's lip service in one sense, but then on the other sense, I think it does increase innovation by just that little bit. And I'm hoping that we can see some cool music services that come out of this because there's been a whole bunch of attempts uh, making things similar services to SoundCloud on the blockchain, but we haven't seen anything that's really amazing and that is worth adopting. And I really hope that we do see something cool come out of this. But wait and see,
Absolutely.
I guess. Yeah, yeah.
It's definitely a wait and see, and it's definitely just one of those things where when we're seeing big existing entities want to get into the space,
Mm.
that's great. We don't need to disrupt every industry out there and push all of these industries away and start again afresh. We can incorporate them in, and I think that's what's going on here. Is that a big music player is wanting to be part of this future in decentralization? So that's awesome. Moving on, MicroStrategy buys more Bitcoin. Will, what are your thoughts on that one?
Oh, that's about 1,000 Bitcoin bought for 350 million dollars. That's pretty exciting.
No, more than that. 12,000 Bitcoin bought for $350 million.
Okay, I'll say that again. It says 12,000. All right, all right. More than 12,000 more than 12,000 Bitcoin bought for 350 million dollars. That's really exciting. And obviously it's not going to move the price massively at this point. But I think what is cool is that it shows that bigger organizations are, I suppose, committing more to Bitcoin. And I think this is just bullish news. And the more these organizations buy, what I'd really like to see happening is them holding and pretty much becoming an economic sink. So more than ETFs, which encourage both buying and selling and all sorts of trading, I'd be more keen to see organizations that actually buy and hold for the long term. And I'm not sure how this will go, whether it's a buy and hold, but I think it's amazing news, Simon.
I think it's definitely a buy and hold. I mean, Saylor has come out many times talking about that MicroStrategy's plan is to hold Bitcoin forever. So that's his kind of
Mm.
theory behind it. And that doesn't mean he's never going to do anything with it. I think he's going to wait till the future where he can leverage against it. But he's using it clearly as a store of value, and he's constantly doubling down on his conviction, and he's constantly using MicroStrategy as a tool to double down on his conviction.
And there you have it. That's huge news for MicroStrategy. The other really cool thing that has happened is HSBC, Hong Kong's largest bank, offers BTC and Ethereum as ETFs to its customers. That's something really cool. I'm really excited to see all of these ETFs coming out. And I think it gives more credence to Bitcoin in that institutional services are getting into it more and more because they do see profit and they do smell money. And I think what this signals to me is essentially m- more institutions getting into Bitcoin, and that's amazing. And some other really cool news is that the UK has passed a bill to recognize crypto. This bill, called the Financial Services and Markets Bill (FSMB), provides more clarity for crypto companies and anybody who's holding and trading crypto in the UK. And this has gotten royal assent from King Charles on Thursday. And this is really cool. And I think it's nice to see pretty much crypto become more officially legal. And what's happening is that it's moving from, I suppose, a directly illegal zone to a gray zone, which I think is where it is right now. And it's moving from there and moving on to sort of like a black and white zone where countries and legal systems say this is allowed with crypto, and as long as you stay within this zone of the law, you're fine. And then we call it a black zone that says, well, this is not allowed in crypto, and if you do these things, this is the kind of trouble you could get into. And this is really cool because what it does is it creates a sense of safety security for uh, crypto investors, crypto innovators, and this could unlock a lot of investment for crypto in the UK. Some estimates put it to the tune of £100 billion. That's massive. And what's crazy is that this comes from a law. Just sign the law, make it clear to everybody this is what's going to happen, and boom, there is investments flowing into your country because people are more confident of the future. Innovators are more confident of the future, which brings us to the US. Meanwhile, in the US, Biden says he will create a bill to eliminate crypto loopholes. It's almost like he's demonizing it on his side. And his whole thesis is that he wants to make sure that crypto traders pay more tax to keep things fair. And there's kind of like a big contrast. It shows you the difference between the US and the UK right now. So right now, I think we should all applaud where the UK is going. It's not there at 100%, but it's definitely heading in the right direction. It's trending to the right place, and a few other countries in the EU are doing this. Like as HSBC, we just talked about that. Now, what the US is doing is that it's just constantly signaling that it doesn't really care for the crypto innovation, where you have these old folks saying like, "Oh, I'm going to make crypto fair by taxing everybody." That's just the dumbest thing in the world. Well, what the US is telling everybody is that do not start a crypto company in the US. And if you're going to trade crypto, for goodness sake, don't do it in the US. That's like the worst place to do it. And it's pretty obvious that innovation and obviously the money is going to flow elsewhere. Biden. So if you want to tax crypto, first of all, make it legal, make sure that there's a lot of investments coming into the country so you can tax it. If you're just going to tax it, well, nobody's going to come to that country. And at this point, I love Americans, but I think I'm going to laugh at them. And I really think that, well, something should happen. I think JFK Jr., though, is pretty interesting, at least in terms of crypto and the way he signals about it. So not everybody is like this. And we do hope that upcoming leaders in the Americas and different other countries are more crypto open, because that means that you make it legal and you make it easy for people to invest into crypto companies as well. But then at the same time, you bring so much clarity. And when you bring clarity, you actually make it safe for everybody. You make it harder for people to create all sorts of scams. Because what's happening now is that if you do anything in America, you're probably doing it in a gray zone. You probably do it under the hood, so to speak. And yeah, like legalize it and make it safe and then tax it. But I guess that's all we have for today. Thanks, guys. If you're still around, make sure you like and subscribe to keep our content out there and support us. And until next time, thanks, Simon. Talk to you guys soon. Stay curious.